Honorary President of the WFDB, WDC, and CIBJO. All these organizations is the Honorary President. And ladies and gentlemen, by the powers vested in me as the Program Director, I do hereby grant Mr. Izhakoff the permission to speak from where he is without coming to the podium. You are privileged to have that opportunity, sir. Let's put our hands together for Mr. Izhakoff for his presentation.
Thank you, Director of Ceremonies. The Honorable Walter Chidakwa, Minister of Mines and Mining Development of the Republic of Zimbabwe, the Honorable Negau Ramatoldi, Minister of Mineral Resources of the Republic of South Africa, Professor Francis Gudiaga, Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Mines and Mining Development, my colleague here at the dais, very important leaders of the diamond and jewelry industry, Ernie Blom, the President of the World Federation of Diamond Bourses, and Dr. Gaetano Cavalieri, the President of CIBJO, my good friend Ahmad bin Sulaiman, the Executive Chairman of the Dubai Metal and Commodity Center, Multi-Commodity Center, sorry. Ari Epstein, CEO of the AWDC from Antwerp. And last but not least, Peter Mayos, who is the chairman of the Dubai Diamond Exchange and also special advisor to the DMCC, but for today, actually, he has helped the Ministry of Mines to put all this thing together. And I think he and his staff and the ministry staff deserves a big round of applause to bring us all together. Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it's very good to be here once again among friends. A night before last night, I flew over to Zimbabwe, and I couldn't sleep on the flight. I was very tired, and as I entered where the immigration is, and I was expecting to meet the immigration officer, and I was in a very cranky mood, and I stand in front of her, and she says to me, "Good morning, how do you feel?" Where do you see an immigration officer who cares about how do you feel? Only in Zimbabwe. In so many ways, I feel that I have a personal stake in the future of the diamond industry in Zimbabwe. Most probably because it was during my term as president of the World Diamond Council that the magnitude of this country's potential as diamond producer was fully understood, as were the possibility that diamond resources offer Zimbabwe and its people. As many of you know, of course, it was at the World Diamond Council's annual meeting in St. Petersburg in July 2010 that agreement was reached that enabled the renewal of rough diamond export from the Marenga diamond fields. It was a testament to the principle that when important issues are at stake, one must continue talking until common ground can be found. But those of us who were involved in the talks at the time understood what was at stake, and that failure should not be considered an option. Opinions and positions between various participants were often far apart, but the glue that held us together was that ultimately we all wanted to do the right thing. And that right thing was to allow Zimbabwe to develop its natural resource for the benefit of the country and its citizens. The result of the momentous meeting, I believe, speaks for itself. Zimbabwe diamond output rose to a peak about 12 million carats in 2012. Zimbabwe's share of African production stood at 15.2% by volume in 2013 and accounted for 8% of the global output, making the country the world's 6th largest producer. Following a decade of contraction, Zimbabwe's economy recorded a real growth of 10% per year, reaching its height in 2012, which is when diamond production was also at its greatest. The possibilities the diamond sector offers as a generator of economic opportunities are unquestionable. But as we know, alluvial diamond deposits come with technical challenges, and it's this that evidently were responsible for the reduction in Zimbabwe's output last year. They emphasize the importance of reinvesting in the diamond industry, in technology and exploration, as well as a quest to discover kimberlite sources. It is worth noting that in neighboring Botswana, where most diamonds are mined in the source rock, the average income is $156 per carat, whereas in Zimbabwe, where the bulk of production is alluvial, it is $52 per carat. The massive development of Zimbabwe natural diamond resources, which would ensure that they will continue to generate growth and development over a long run, requires international cooperation and investment. Such is the nature of our industry today and business world in general. But there should be no shortage of interested parties. Zimbabwe offers the prospect of substantial continuing rough diamond production in the market, where over the next decades demand is forecast to outpace supply. Bain & Company has estimated that demand for polished diamonds will expand by 6.4% in terms of value annually over the next decade, while rough diamond supply from known sources will only grow at the compound rate of around 2%. This makes for irresistible business prospect, which is good news for Zimbabwe. It is imperative, therefore, that the dialogue that was nurtured with the Kimberley process continue, and agreements that were reached are strictly abided by. Zimbabwe's future as an important producer will be enhanced if it is seen to be active participants in the campaign to ensure the diamonds are not source of conflict, but rather a source of growth, development, and prosperity. In the modern business environment, economic independence is not the opposite of economic interdependence. Indeed, none of us can succeed without the support and cooperation of the other. Our fortunes are interlinked, as our interests and our chances for success. But the stakes are not always quite the same. Throughout much of the world, diamonds are considered luxury products, which are good to have, but not essential. However, in a number of countries, among them Zimbabwe, the diamond industry is an essential business sector. What this means that producing countries must remain keenly aware of the sentiments of the concerns in all related markets, because the prospect of losing their confidence could be most severe. This does not mean that you should be subservient to the consumer markets, nor does it mean that your national considerations should not be afforded equal respect. The days in which you could be dictated by a handful of individuals, companies, or governments are long over. Today, Africa is not subservient to the diamond pipeline. It is pipeline driving force. This continent no longer can be considered a place whose primary role is to produce raw materials that are processed and sold elsewhere. The recent transfer of De Beers diamond trading headquarters from London to Gaborone was an historic event of significant proportion. for it shifted the decision-making capacity in the rough diamond business from Europe to Africa. I strongly believe that the Kimberley process and the types of discussions that we had with Zimbabwe contributed to the remarkable change that has taken place in recent years. Just as I feel that African producers became more closely aware of the consumer sentiments in the developed markets, I believe that participants from consuming countries came to understand and respect the expectations that Africans have regarding the natural resources. Chinua Achebe, the great Nigerian writer, once said, "People go to Africa and confirm what they already have in their mind, and so they fail to see what is in front of them." Well, what we see today in the region that is more empowered and better equipped to grasp the future. In fact, I believe we are no longer can regard Africa as only a region where diamonds are produced. Africa's economy is growing faster than the economies of all other continents. About a third of the 54 African countries are seeing annual GDP growth of more than 6%, and that means that it is becoming a consumer force in its own right. According to Harvard Business Review, by 2020, about half of Africans' households will have discretionary spending power, and growing degree of influence can be expected to continue. According to the same study in Harvard Business Review, the African workforce will swell by 160 million just this decade, and by 2035 would be larger than China's. By 2050, Africa will account for about 25% of the world's workers, and because of the average age is low, they will be supporting fewer of the older generation that appears we do in other parts of the world. In short, if economic development is well managed, the future is bright indeed. 25 years ago, who would have predicted that China would be the world's largest consuming economy? 25 years from now, Africa could be the new China. And that constitutes well-managed economic development. In the global economy, it involves the building of infrastructure and a well-educated and motivated workforce, the creation of economic environment that is conducive to foreign investment, and expansion of trade relations in the region and the world. In the context of the diamond business, it also involves compliance with the Kimberley process and the implementation of all necessary measures to reduce reputational risk. In recent years, I've been very actively involved in the establishment of both physical and business infrastructure for the industry in Latin America, which, like Africa, is establishing itself as a region of tremendous economic potential. Although it is a very significant producer of gold and silver, color stones, Latin America is not blessed to the same degree with diamond resources as you are in this part of the world. It also lacks a properly structured trading center, which is what we are building in Panama, which is today home to the Panama Diamond Exchange, the region's only diamond bourse that both recognize and is a member of the World Federation of Diamond Bourses. The project involves the construction of $200 million trading complex in Panama City called Panama Gem and Jewelry Center, which will serve as gateway to Latin America and trading hub for the industry professionals from Mexico to north, the southern tip of South Africa. As part of the process, I worked together with the Panamanian government in its becoming a member of the Kimberley process, which is, of course, an absolute prerequisite in the business today. In Panama, we set up a diamond exchange as a foundation of a new regional trading center. It is a body that helps facilitate and regulate the trade, and when accepted as a World Federation of Diamond Bourses member, provides the members worldwide industry a physical venue in which they feel comfortable doing business. I know that the Zimbabwean government has been considering setting up a diamond exchange, and it is a move that I recommend very, very highly. You have Ernie Blom, the president of World Diamond Bourses, Mr. Gaetano Cavalieri, myself, who are prepared to help you and aid you to make this dream a reality. And hopefully by the next conference, we can have the president of the new Zimbabwean Diamond Exchange sitting right up here. There was a time not long ago when the world's diamond market did not extend far beyond Western Europe and North America. Today, they are global, and the two most exciting prospective regions are most probably Africa and Latin America. I am most proud to be associated with both of them and have played a role in their development. Thank you very much.